So today we're going to be doing a pocket wrap cross carry in a stretchy wrap. A stretchy wrap is a sort of a mix in feel. It is like a jersey. This is like a jersey type material, almost like a. It's got a little bit of bounce to it. So if you're not really sure if you've got a woven or a stretchy wrap, if it feels more like a t-shirt, it's pretty safe to say that it's kind of in the stretchy territory. And there's a lot of common brands of stretchy wraps out there. Stretchy wraps are good for newborns, especially. Some parents find that and caregivers find that they're more comfortable to learn with, just because it has a little bit of give to it. It's very thin, the fabric. So even though it's long fabric like the woven wrap, it kind of feels easier for some for learning. This kind of carrier is only safe with multiple passes, so a single pass around baby just isn't strong enough to hold them safely into position. So that's always something that you want to keep in mind with a stretchy wrap. They're also not safe for back carries typically, but it is a good carrier. You can use it for older children as well. It just may not provide as much support as some other carriers. But this is certainly a very popular way to get started with baby wearing. A lot of people find that it's very helpful. So let's get started. The pocket wrap cross carry is very popular, especially for newborns. I'm going to show you the arms out version and a little show of what it might look like arms in as well. So we've got our long stretchy wrap fabric. We want to find the center. Usually it's marked. This has a little logo that's going to tell me it's the center. I'm going to start at my chest, and I'm going to pre-set it up before I grab baby. So I'm going to find the top edge. We can call it a rail, even though it's not woven. The top rail. I'm going to pull it around my back while holding this in place, and I'm going to reach around so that I kind of go up like that. I can always check to see if it's twisted by kind of tucking down there. I'm going to kind of bunch up at the top of my shoulder. I've got that side. I'm going to continue to hold this here, and I'm going to go around and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to find that top edge. I'm going to come around, up, and over the shoulder. A bunch. And again, I can sort of check if I'm bunched up there like that as well. Okay, so I've got this. Now the thing to know with the stretchy wrap is it's much easier and much safer to start tight than to start loose and try to do tight. It's just harder to do because this fabric has more give. So if we start it nice and tight, it's going to be easier to sort of maneuver and make sure that we're keeping baby safe and snug inside. So I just kind of went and I tugged down. I'm going to kind of assess this. How does this feel? I'm bunching it up a little bit because we're going to end up bunching it later. And I still feel looseness, right? You especially want to keep in mind looseness up here. So up here by where where this middle marker is, this is going to be what's going to provide head support, especially for a newborn. And that's a really common complaint with wraps and with stretchies is that I just didn't get that tight enough up by the head and I feel like it's kind of flopping. You can sort of fix that by using like a small washcloth or something and sort of tucking that here and pulling that over, which of course then loosens it once you take the cloth out, so do keep that in mind. But if you want to try to prevent that initially, remember that these inner layers, these inner rails are correlated to this. So this is correlated to this is correlated to down here. So if I want to get this tighter, I can sort of pull especially here to get this nice and tight against me. And I can kind of pull other aspects also, and it's stretchy, so it sort of has more give, and it's sort of like staying kind of where I put it, which is one of the things people like about stretchy wraps and when they're learning. Okay, so I've got that nice and tight. Okay, so now what do I do? So we're going to make a pocket. So this is our pocket. I'm going to put this through my little pocket, so I sort of bunched it up and put that down through. I'm going to do the same thing with the other strap. Okay. Okay. tight. And I'm going to cross. And if you want to think about it, a lot of times we use these for little babies, so we're kind of crossing fairly high because they're so small. We want to make sure they sort of end up here. So I'm going to try to cross it a little bit lower for my little bit bigger demo baby. We'll see how that goes. But you want to imagine that baby's going to be sitting in here, and that the crosses kind of be where their legs settle. So if you kind of imagine where they are, we want baby to sort of sit in this, especially with the newborn. When we kind of pick them up and plop them onto us, they sort of settle in the position that we want them to stay in, with their little knees up and the little feet out and little bum down. And so we just kind of want to like help them with the pocket wrap cross carry, just sort of wrap it around what they're already doing. So I'm going to show you as best I can with my demo doll how to do that. So I've got the cross here. I'm going to bring this back around, and I'll go ahead and double knot, just so that I don't forget. You always want to double knot at the end of the carrier. We can always go back and undo this knot and move it and re-double knot it somewhere else. So a lot of people don't really like the feel of that double knot on their back with the stretchy wrap. And you can always tie it on the side or the front, wherever's comfortable for you. You can always move it. But for right now, we'll keep it there, so it's out of the way. I've got my baby. I'm going to support my baby. All right, and so I'm looking at my cross, looking at the straps. I'm going to start with the inner cross. I'm going to put baby's leg in and sort of settle that at the knee. I'm going to put baby's other leg on the other side. Again, sort of settle at the knee. Okay, so now I've sort of got baby in there. I'm going to find the top, sort of that topmost edge, and I'm going to spread over my baby. And this is starting with the inner. Spread from this knee to the other knee, and spread over. And a lot of the times with pocket wrap cross carry, with little babies who want their little arms in, and so we're spreading it all the way over, from knee to knee and over their back. Okay, and then of course we're checking to make sure that we're not doing anything that's sort of putting too much pressure on the face. We can always sort of tuck that over if we need as we're working. Okay, so now I'm going to take the other end of the cross. Again, I'm going to try to find that top edge. I'm going to bring it all the way over to the knee, up and over, so knee to knee, and all the way up and across the back. Okay, and as you can see, my baby's close enough to kiss, so we're checking. Is everything knee to knee? Is baby in a good position? Right, knees higher than the bum. That's what we want. Okay, so when we feel like we've got baby nice and crossed in our cross, we're going to sort of tuck under as best we can, get a little bit of fabric under baby to help keep them there, and then we're going to find that pocket we made, and that outer logo should be here. It's not. Maybe I've grabbed the wrong edge. Okay, so yeah, there it is. You feel around for it. So now I'm going to pull this whole panel up and over, up to the top. Now I could leave baby here with their little legs in, with their feet in. What I want to make sure of, if I'm going to do that, is I want to make sure that that the pressure and the weight of their little body is not on their feet but on their bum. So if I'm pulling this over and they're almost like standing up in it and they're putting pressure on their feet, that's the wrong position. So we can either kind of bring the feet out and sort of reassess, or we can kind of just reach in and readjust the positioning, make sure baby has their weight on their bum. So bum down, knees up. And with a little baby, it's not going to be a huge, we're not talking huge differences, but it is going to be something. So, okay, so I'm going to put my baby feet out just because I think that is easier to kind of get right. So little feet out, and then I'm going to take this bottom edge and I'm just going to tuck up as best I can, tucking up to the diaper line about if I can. Again, we're kind of supporting from that knee to knee. And now we've got a little pocket. Now this baby might be a little bit too high up for me, but as you can see, baby's close enough to kiss. Some other things to kind of note with newborns, especially in here, but with any little baby. First of all, for my comfort, this is pretty close to my neck, so I'm definitely going to pull it off my neck a bit, right? And onto my shoulder a bit. So that's kind of step one. Okay, part of that is probably because my baby's a little high. Step 2, we could do a couple of things. So let's say my baby is nicely tucked in there, but they need a little, we want to kind of give a little more room. I can cap that over my shoulder like that. Let's say baby is sleepy and wants to take a nap. I can, with their head facing the other way, right? I can sort of go like that, and I can support their neck while they turn to the side and resting. That's a really cozy way to snuggle up. And again, this baby's a little high. But that's another way to do that. And of course, like we talked about, we can move that knot around. And you just kind of want to recheck, retighten things as needed as baby's wiggling about. It is a stretchy. It is going to have some give to it. But that's how we do that. Always monitoring the airway, of course, and keeping baby close. So I hope that helps.